Looks like we're still having a little bit of trouble. Should be updated now. There we go. Alrighty. Fingers crossed. I've fixed a little bit of the frame rate issues. Having a terrible time with it yesterday. But we are starting a new farm on Farming Simulator 2019. Figured it's a nice little countdown to the debut of Farming Simulator 2022. So yeah, like the title said, Farming Simulator with an ag major. I'm an ag major. I have 1 degree in agribusiness, and I'm currently working on another degree in agricultural sciences education. So that is currently what the goal, the current line of work is, I guess you would say. So we are on Estancia Sao. Actually, just totally forgot the name of the map here, but it is a Brazilian map. Also playing with seasons, mimicking the state I am from, North Kakalaki, North Carolina, in the good old US of A. So we have some seasons set up, which we are actually going to configure just because we will do 6 days instead of that. So, starting out, we are playing on Farm Manager, so we start with a lot of funds. And also to add to some realism, so the general like consensus among like agribusiness as a major and everything like that is generally that for a commodity crop farmer, maybe even dual specializing in cattle or pigs or chickens, some other type of husbandry on top of commodity crop farming, you're going to be looking at probably about $7 to $8 million, depending on where you're at, to actually start the farm. And you either gain that through, angel investors. You're a farm manager working for somebody, and you're investing their money, kind of thing. You're taking on extra loans, things like that. So to add some realism, we're going to max out the loan, just because that's going to be how we do things. All right, so we maxed out the loan. We were at 1.5 million. These guys are humongous. I do believe I have my settings set to Imperial, and we are going to be playing on normal difficulty. We are going to turn off automatic engine, off, stop and go, turn off all the buying, crop destruction is on, periodic plowing, autosave. We've got dollar, miles, and we'll do acres. Okay. So we'll go ahead and save. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's go ahead and figure out. So in real life, you would honestly be able to lease fields. You would have some level of like home base of like what you would be doing. But this looks like what is actually supposed to be our home base, and because I am on Farm Manager, we don't have it immediately. So we can go ahead and let's say that the investor bought the land. We're working for him, and the goal is he actually wants us for whatever reason. He's old, and we have a sneaking suspicion that he's going to eventually sell us the property, or we can work for it, kind of whatever. So we got the farmhouse, different farmhouses kind of thing. I think for the most part, we're going to go ahead and keep all of the infrastructure on the property. We don't have a tractor, and don't know. Whoops. Okay, so this is going to tell us what the entirety. So yeah, this is 3.5 hectares is what it says, even though we have it on acres. And I don't know if that means that the field itself is what it's counting, because that's way too big to be what is a hectare's 2.5 acres, 2.2 acres, something like that. That would be 6. I feel like this is way too big to be, 6 acres or whatever. 6.5 or what, 6 to 10 or whatever. I'm not doing math at 10 o'clock in the morning, guys. Sorry. Um, this is essentially what we have. We have about a 6 acre field to work with, which in real life is borderline nothing. So yeah, we are gonna hop over into the truck. I can not back into the guy's thing. This is a Brazilian style map, but I felt like the climate, as far as like putting on seasons and stuff with it, would do pretty well at mimicking at least the look of the southeast United States, and the fact that it's red clay like this, red dirt everywhere. We don't have that deep black stuff like Iowa and Illinois and everything else like that. So going 50 miles an hour down a bumpy dirt road. Hopefully they did their terrain height mapping properly. I think I actually went down the wrong road. That's because I did. That's okay. We'll take the back roads, do a little bit of exploring on the map. So, full disclosure, prior to this, haven't looked at the map at all. I have a lot of hours playing Farming Simulator. I thoroughly enjoy the game. I know I'm super nerdy about my major and everything, agribusiness. I actually had to play this game for an assignment for one of my agribusiness courses. They did say the free one. I just destroyed the suspension on the truck over there. But they did say the free one, which was like a mobile version of it or whatever, but I already had this one, and I just asked them if I could go ahead and play this one, and they were like, absolutely. So that's what we have going. Or that's my, I've used it not only in an educational setting, but also in just a recreational setting in general. So, solid black wall over there. Interesting spawn location for that. Alright, so that is our... Like the head corn going. So corn, but it's recognizing it as fallow and fallow. So that is one of the things I do like about... This is bigger than 6 acres. This is bigger than 10 acres. I don't know what the heck's going on with this. Maybe if we just turn it to... Maybe we change it to hectares. It might fix the... No, it still says 3.05 hectares. Alright, well, I'm actually going to go figure out what a hectare is. Because I'm pretty sure it's 2.2 or 2.5. I can't remember for acreage. But if it's 2.5, what's that put us at? 7.5 acres? So. Alright, we're parked up. So now I guess we have to figure out, since we can't rent land. I don't speak Portuguese, so I don't know what that is. I know sorgo is sorghum. This is 426,000, and this is 8 point. See, yeah, and this is about the same size as the actual plot that we bought. So maybe it is just the, maybe it is just that field, and it's just about 10 acres. So we should have $200,000 left over. Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll buy this. We'll have 2. And we will get the biggest small tractor. We can get a Luxem for 77. And we are going to go for like a case style. You get 117 horsepower. We're going to get a case style, or we're going to go for a case farm. This is 170 just right off the bat. So I think we're just going to do that. There's some Michelin tires on it, and we will throw twin. We're just gonna go for that. We'll need, at the bare minimum, a drill and a thing to spread lime. We are going to throw in the 6-meter spreading unit. And we're not going to throw on narrows because we're going to, yeah, and we will get the big. So I still have to keep in mind we are going to need additives. We are also going to need seeds. We are also going to need some level of capital left over to stick with the actual process. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay, so we have corn, and I don't think it's going to recognize. I think it's going to recognize both of them as fallow on fallow. So if we head over to, here's a little chicken coop, and chickens might be a good thing to start with. Don't know what the price for eggs is. We've got per 1,000 liters. I think each box caps out at 250. And we have a 400 chicken capacity in that coop. Potatoes, but it's grass and fallow. So I'm pretty sure grass, how they actually have it set up, reset your crop rotation. So a little bit of agronomical knowledge. Fallow means essentially you left a field open. You didn't put anything in it. You either left it be with stubble and stuff on top of it, or you left it bare and then let the weeds and grasses take over. So sometimes fallow rotations are good. There's some debate, especially on like what's good for coverage. So we're gonna go off of what grows in. Wow, that was really loud. I'm sorry. I did not know that was going to be a thing. I'm going to turn down that volume. Okay, turn that on 50%. Fingers crossed that actually helped. Okay, like I was saying, we're going to go off of what would actually grow in my region. And for the most part, nobody grows sugar beets where I'm at unless they're trying to set up a food plot for deer. Potatoes do get grown, sweet potatoes specifically. My state is really known for sweet potatoes. Sorghum is a massive crop in the eastern part of the state. I think Fiajo or Fava. Wow, that is still really loud. Holy cow. We are going to put on the environmental volume. We're going to take that down to 10%. That was really loud. That was a lot on my end, so I can't imagine. Sorry, headphone users, if you guys end up tuning into this, the VOD on YouTube. And I do have Pretzel Rock set up because the stream yesterday actually got flagged because apparently there was some copyright shark on YouTube that decided he was going to take one of their free music things and use it in a sample he had. So it got flagged. I don't feel like messing with that. I am Joe Schmo streamer on Twitch, uploading VODs to YouTube. So I think I'm just going to stick with just Pretzel Rocks and put it on YouTube safe mode. But okay, back to what I was saying. Sorghum, and let's look up what Fiajo is. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Like I said, I don't speak Portuguese. Yo hablo un poquito español, pero no hablo bueno. But I don't speak Portuguese at all. Okay. I. Yo. It literally just means bean. So frijole it's the equivalent of frijole in Spanish, and sorgo I'm assuming is sorghum. I don't know if they're soybeans or if they're like fava or cowpeas or something like that. But soybeans are a massive thing where I'm at. Corn is. Sunflowers are a rotation that they will use. They're not usually used for commodity crop. They're more chopped for uh, silage, for ensilaging. And for those of you that don't know, ensilaging is actually removing oxygen from the fermenting process for some type of fodder material, which is just animal feed, and capping it, letting it ferment, and that way the bacterial growth in it is slowed to the point where it still maintains nutritional value for the animals, but the storage capability of it is way, way longer than keeping like chopped corn or chopped beans or whatever. Versus hay, and it gives a different nutritional value. And we can honestly sit there and talk about the entirety of animal science's total available nutrition in or total digestible nutrition in uh, animal feed. I'm not an animal science major. My concentration has always been in plants and soil, though. Which, with the EU's actual cooperation with giant studios, they have added the ability, and it's saving, the ability to do soil testing. And it's obviously not near as complicated, but it does add a sense of realism to it. Now, in real life, you would have to go out and you would take soil samples. Honestly, with fields as big as this, like especially like 13 here or 12, they would probably be hiring somebody to come out and do it. Uh, Especially if they were running like all of these fields, because in reality, it would be more like 2,000 acres or something like that, 700 at the minimum. And on top of all that, I mean, they may find time to go or send the hand out or send your son or whatever. Uh, but a lot of the times, the ag, especially in my area, we don't have these gigantic fields. So the ag extension office, the agricultural extension office, I don't know if Europe has an equivalent. I know in America there was a legislation done a while back in the 1800s set up land grant universities, and eventually they set up something called the Agricultural Extension or Cooperative Extension Service, which is essentially in every single state. These land grant universities have to study at some level agriculture, and they then send out these extension agents that work for the college and work for the state that assist in disseminating research-based growing information and husbandry information to rural communities. It's outside. It's a civil service in the sense of it's more than just like what fertilizers to add to corn. They also offer like life planning stuff as far as like family education stuff. Not necessarily life planning, but family educational things, pest control things for non-agriculturist kind of thing. But yeah, let's go pick up, and I am going to teleport. Um, I'm not going to be driving back and forth that entire time. So we're going to do this. We also need to lease. There. We need to lease the soil tester because for as little as you'll use it, I think it's every 3 years or every 3 harvests in this, but it's usually 3 years is what people will uh, do for their land. They'll do every 3 years is what they're testing their soil. I still feel like that's really loud, so we're gonna turn this down even more. I'm gonna turn vehicle volume down 20%. Not gonna turn on the radio. All right, hopefully that's a little better. So, let's hook this guy up. Alrighty. Head back up to the farm. We'll take the highway this time. Just so we can get a little bit more exploration on the map. So, I am not familiar in a real life, I actually don't think we're going to fit properly. So we will just take the dirt roads. Ignore my blatant disregard for blinker uses. Uh, I don't drive a BMW in real life. I swear. I don't know if that if everybody gets that joke, but so I don't actually have any familiarity in real life with a machine like this. I'm assuming it adds more like of a satellite GPS signal to where you actually took uh, the soil sample because it looks extremely sophisticated. Whereas when I was trained on how to take soil samples with a bore sampler, it's literally just about a like 2 foot. It's got a 2 foot like cylinder on the end of it, and that cylinder you then shove into the ground with a pole that you step on, and then twist, and it pulls a core of soil out. And then you take that soil and then put it in a bucket, and then you keep going, and you mark where you took the soil sample. So it's it's not all, and I actually think this is our field. So we're just going to back up and go ahead and start soil sampling. Yeah, like see all that? That's crazy. I'm assuming that's a push rod and like all of that, but it doesn't actually go into um what the machine does. It just talks about soil sampling in the mod. I'm sure I could look it up, but it's probably very European, and I am really familiar with American agriculture, not so much European. Okay, so uh, this would essentially be on a manual scale. You would do this as well. You would go and you would try to do as random as possible, as far as like making sure that you still got a variety of different samples throughout your field, but you would go and you would actually, you know, like kind of snake through the field while you're taking your samples. At least I'm sure some farmer could jump on here and be like, well, actually, and I don't have direct hand experience with participating in commodity farming. I do have a lot of experience dealing with animal husbandry and vegetable crop farming. But as far as the commodity uh, production side, I, I know about it in theory. I do not have any practical firsthand knowledge. Most of those in my state are very family operated, so it's kind of hard to get your foot in the door with, you know, internships or anything like that. At least in my experience. Uh, I do have a lot of experience with vegetable gardening. I worked on a vegetable farming. Uh, I worked on a vegetable farm that also did turkeys, pigs, chickens, and uh, they did, for them being right under the snow line, they did tomatoes almost year round. Uh, the guy was a master with managing his hothouse and cutting costs on that or whatever, but there were some other things that popped up with that, which is why I left. Mainly medical stuff, uh, but that place was really cool in the fact of like, I'm not kidding you. I was working outside one day and it was probably February, and for anybody not familiar with mountains, there's something called a snow line, where essentially the altitude is high enough that precipitation 9 times out of 10 when it's going to fall there, uh, obviously it can change with the seasons and stuff like that, but there's like a line drawn across the mountain where the snow falls. Uh, and this guy's property literally sat probably 20 feet below the snow line. It was awesome. I mean, it sucked because I was in freezing rain below the snow line, but you could literally look up. You could see snowflakes falling, and then as they crossed the snow line, they would turn to precipitation or turn to water. The precipitation would turn to water is what I was attempting to say. But that was the largest scale experience I had with vegetable farming. Uh, I've also worked on some smaller operations that were they were kind of more like market gardens, which market gardens are a more modern term for something that uh, back in the earlier days of America, probably I'd say earlier, 70s and 80s, you would have just called it a truck plot, where Ma and Pa grew some extra corn, extra potatoes, turnips, rutabagas, things like that, and then would take them, sell them on a market stall or a market stall on the side of the road or whatever. That's now turned into something called a market garden, is what they'll call it. And I want to say it's gentrifying in a sense, but I feel like a lot of America is gentrifying right now. But that's a discussion for another time. It's actually an interesting dynamic. Part of my degree is rural sociology and like economic development of rural areas and stuff. And I recently just had to do a report on the economic and development policies of one of the most rural counties in my state. And it was interesting to see the economic dynamics of, so the median household income increased, but the amount of people living in poverty in the county also increased. And I'm not an economist, so I couldn't really give you a professional opinion on why I think that is. I can give you my personal opinion on it. It was just a kind of scenario of the rich getting richer while the poor become slaves kind of thing. There's a very interesting labor dynamic in America at this point in time. And I'm as far as what's actually happening, I'm going to keep my opinion to myself, but the statistics being gathered on it are extremely mind-boggling as far as like, holy cow, like like I said, it's one of the poorest and one of the most rural counties in my entire state. There are 100 counties in my state, and this one ranks in like the top 5 for wage gaps, as far as like the dichotomy of, so the average house costs, I think they said $1,300 US to own there. And it was essentially the average household income, or the average, not the median, household income per month was essentially like 1,600, which, if you're trying to start a family, is absolutely nothing. All right, actually, so this quit spamming the chat. I've done that several times, and I don't know why Streamlabs keeps doing that. I've whitelisted it, everything. I don't know why. For whatever reason, I force reload the apps. Don't know why it keeps doing it. But hopefully, when you guys watch the chat and stuff, it's not too much of a distraction for you. I will try to get it figured out. I'm still new to the streaming thing. Speaking of new to the streaming thing, hoping the audio quality is okay. I'm hoping the frame rate is okay. I played with some stuff with the frame rate. That's why the stream was almost a little delayed according to the schedule. But the audio quality, fingers crossed, I'm getting a new mic this Friday. So hopefully that audio quality we can really fix. I know it is a little bit nasally and echoey, and I apologize for that. I'm kind of just a nasally person in general, especially around winter and fall time where I'm at. But so yeah, back to the economic development of America currently. I definitely think that there's an interesting point in history where we're at right now, regardless of where you think that, regardless of whether your socioeconomic policies, your personal policies lie at, personal beliefs. I definitely think that we're at an interesting spot, and we're seeing a really interesting thing happen with the, especially in rural communities. And that's more of where I can speak intelligently on. I don't really have a lot of, knowledge. I understand basic macro and microeconomics, but I'm by no means an expert on that. You want to ask me about soil, you want to ask me about plants, you want to ask me about diseases on those things, I got you. I've got you covered. But the you want to talk to me about the political climate of the world, the labor market, and things like that? I really don't understand it well enough to speak intelligently on it. Again, it comes back with the message was deleted, despite the fact that it literally just said. Yeah. So I apologize if it's spamming for my mod bot, my Streamlab bot, spamming chat. I will try to figure that out for the next stream. Alrighty. I do have the travel lines mod installed. So when we do go to get to the point where we're fertilizing and planting and things like that, we can properly travel. I'm just gonna have to figure out how we're gonna do it with. It'll be my first time actually messing with it properly. So we'll leave a little bit of gap there. It shouldn't be super bad. Or we can turn around and we can get it, because it probably is going to bug me. That tiny little one in the front is not that big of a deal. Put this one up here. Yeah, and I know we're driving over in soil compaction and all of that stuff. However, one of the things you can do to mitigate soil compaction is adding wider tires and a wider wheelbase, because it disperses your weight better over your soil and your growing medium. Granted, I still wouldn't be driving like this in real life over my field. Just cut a gigantic rut. That will be one of the things I would like to see maybe in 2022. And I haven't been keeping up with the updates as much as I would have liked to with 2022. I know that they've added, I'm pretty sure seasons is a default thing now, and you can turn it on and off. They've added new machines. They always do. The graphics, from what I'm seeing, look pretty good. They have a much better building tool, where it's kind of a stretch and a stretch and okay, yeah, I can't figure out how to get rid of that. Sorry. They have like a better building tool where that's, from what I understand, it's like a click and drag where you can do lines of it. I believe they have added grapes as a harvesting, which is, it's always cool to see more more crop types. I would really like to see smaller scale agriculture be included in the in future updates and stuff, and future farming simulator games. Companies like Kubota and Coyote, Mahindra, Yanmar, which are, especially in places like India, which is a massively growing market, and I know John Deere is attempting to get into places like Rwanda and Western Africa, which they don't have the capability right now for the economic capability as far as development and processing facilities and things like that for industrial scale agriculture like we do in places like Germany, United States, Canada, Russia, Poland. I don't think that they have the economic capability. Again, not an economist. I probably am wrong. But the small scale agriculture market is definitely there. And there's actually a company called BCS, and they're a massive player in India, where small and moderate scale agriculture is the big thing. And so I would like to see in future farming sim games the small scale agriculture market represented a bit better. I think that I think that it would offer, especially with things like this map isn't too bad. Like it has these fields, which I would consider for the game medium sized. Uh, for the actual, and then versus things like in a lot of European maps, they have extremely small, where they'll quote unquote small for the game. And I would like to see the smaller scale agriculture, maybe include some smaller scale livestock and more specialty livestock, as far as like in seasons they add Cornish crosses, which are just meat birds. Nobody raises Cornish crosses for eggs. They are mutants of birds and will actually get too big too quickly and will die after a certain amount of time. And I believe those are the things that you get, those gigantic chicken breasts that are the size of your head. That's what those come off with, Cornish crosses, which are they're a cross between a Cornish hen, Cornish game bird, and usually between either, or sometimes it could be a Cornish rock and a cross, and some other type of like larger bird. And I don't know the exact lineage of the breed. I call them Franken chickens because they will get gigantic. I used to work for a place that sold uh, chicks, would sell like pullets and chicks and turkeys and ducks and things like that. And when we would get in Cornish crosses, they would be one. We would get them; they'd be bigger than every other bird, and they would be the same age. And then within, I'm not kidding you, probably 2-3 weeks, they were bigger than the turkey pullets we would get in. And I definitely makes me appreciate the food system. If you have access to local food systems, just the ability uh, to know where your food comes from. Like I go when I can because meat's kind of expensive. To the local butcher, which will always have better deals than half of these people. And I know where their processing facility is. I can ask them, where did these shipment of cattle come in, and they can tell me exactly who it came from. Usually, they try to purchase from local ranchers, uh, and they will attempt to within. I think their goal is within 150 miles, which I don't think is too bad for our local food system. I mean, that would 150 miles is 2.5 hours, something like that. So I don't think that that's too bad of a drive for food and it being considered local. Um, but I do get a little bit of peace of mind going in there, going into the fridge, seeing, that they have eggs from one of the local poultry farms, and they don't usually carry chicken, just because the majority, for whatever reason, most of our poultry farms around here are owned by Case. Uh, it's a thing in the southeast. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, we don't get a lot of local chicken, and local chicken does cost quite a bit. We'll send those soil samples off, and we're gonna say that they came and they picked up our little Iscaria, uh, Isaria Scout. Isaria Scout is what. Yeah, they're gonna come pick that up for us because they're nice. Now I do know in. Ooh, wow. Okay, didn't see that. In certain locations, certain counties, the cooperative extension will have, or the co-op, which is a different thing than the cooperative extension. The actual farmers will have a cooperative, and they will share resources. So I know that ours has a pasteurizer because we do have a decent bit of dairies where I'm at, um, and I'm pretty sure they have a seed drill for some smaller scale some smaller scale agricultural enterprises. Um, okay, cool. So now we can see. Let's actually, because that just we're not gonna. It annoys the living hell out of me to constantly. Animal food, animal food. Constantly have to buy the, and we're just gonna buy an all-in-one station. I know it's not realistic, and I'm sorry if I am ruining somebody's immersion right now, but I do not don't like going back and forth constantly to. I'm still gonna have to purchase it. I'm still gonna have to. It's just I don't have to go back and forth to the shop constantly to refill my, especially with lime. Lime runs out so quickly in this game. It's not even funny. I do think we will attempt to get some cattle. So. Okay, while we're at it, we need to be thinking about our crop rotation. I know that it was technically potatoes and corn, and it did not say that, but I think we're going to work those into the rotation. I am going to swap it to where potatoes are on the smaller field because I don't feel like losing my mind and going insane while trying to harvest potatoes on Farming Simulator. I think what is the widest potato technology? That one goes to 3 meters, and I think potato. This one is 2, 1.8, 1.8. So it's not even 2. You get a 3.2 Holland topper, but you don't get you don't get a three wide toe behind potato harvester. I actually don't know. I've never watched sweet potato harvesting, which is the main thing in my state. Sweet potatoes are a massive commodity or a massive crop in where I'm at. My state, not just like my primary location, but my actual state. Whoop, whoop. Can I turn down that way? I don't think I can turn down that way. I think it'll make me turn around and stuff. But never actually watched sweet potato harvesting, so I don't know if it goes to the same thing. I know they're technically different plants. Like, they're not part of the same family. Like, potatoes are part of something called, and forgive my Latin, Solanaceae, which is the nightshade family. Same thing with tomatoes and eggplants. And so, but sweet potatoes are not part of that family. I don't know off the top of my head what family sweet potatoes are part of. And sweet potatoes are different than yams. So I know if anybody watches from Asia, Asia also has something called yams. Africa does as well. But as far as continents go, Asia's purple yams is a thing. Japanese, I believe, actually make up a paste out of it, and it'll stay purple through the entire cooking process, which is pretty cool. But the turning my hazards, probably do that. Oh, here's a fun one for you. If you don't live in America, where I'm at least, tractors usually don't have the work lights on top of them. They just turn on their hazards. They just turn on their hazard blinkers, where both blinkers will go at the same time. That was just a fun little fact for you. But yeah, sweet potatoes are a massive crop where I'm at, and I actually don't know the name of them, their Latin name. And I do know that yams and sweet potatoes are different plants. Really similar, and they may be part of the same family and just different species. So that's just a fun one if anybody knows, especially if they go and watch the VOD after in YouTube and want to leave me a comment on what the actual part of that is. Speaking of nightshades, one of my favorite nightshades ever is eggplant. And where I'm at, no good Italian, but I will tear me up some eggplant parmesan. I love grilled eggplant, grilled squash. I love veggies. Yeah, there are only a couple of veggies that I don't care for, and that's I hate celery. I just will refuse to eat it outright. I don't like celery, don't care for anything about it. Um, but that's kind of the only one I can think of. I don't like tomatoes plain. I don't like cucumbers plain. But I don't mind them in stuff. Like I love German cucumber salad. Uh, one of my favorite things. Which is just like a sour cream, vinegar, like home style pickle cucumber, like quick pickle cucumbers kind of thing. Uh, and then it's um, just a dill, things like that. Lot more earthy flavors. And I know that the road is right there. I'm deciding I'm going to cut through here. This shouldn't take too long. The field's not super big, but um, so this is one of the things I don't. I mean, I know that getting your soil towards neutral is ideal, but there are some plants that actually enjoy acidic soils. Like blueberries are a big one of it. Blueberries and blackberries, or is it raspberry? I can't remember off the top of my head. I have a field guide for North Carolina plants. Um, is actually um, they actually prefer pretty acidic soil. Like I believe blueberries will actually do really well in soil below a 6 in pH value. Um, and I know I should probably be doing my headlands last. I don't have a drive lane for this, but again, we're probably going to need to plow this up. So like if I go into, and we got to save. Oh, okay, no, this one doesn't need plowing, so we won't need to plow. So I am causing a little bit of compaction, but once the seed drill goes over it, we should be okay. We still need to figure out our rotation as well. Um, so what we will do, I totally just lost my train of thought, guys. But yeah, this field shouldn't take super long. But you see what I'm talking about? Oh, I was talking about headlands. Yes, I probably should have been doing my headlands line. Yes, I got it. Um, okay, okay. And I do believe we are probably gonna need to. I think we're gonna be switching our time scale to 15. So I believe that's every 20 minutes is a day because we're already at 48 minutes on the stream. We're only at 12:30. Especially with 6 days and seasons. I mean, I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but and I'll probably change it as we get more farm or we get more land on the farm. But for right now, another thing I would like to see added in Farming Simulator is liquid lime. Uh, that is a thing. Liquid lime is a thing, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a ton of uh, direct experience with commodity crop farming. And so maybe sprayers just don't do well with liquid lime. Maybe they get clogged up, and so nobody uses it, and that's why it's just not a thing. Or maybe there's some, maybe the EU, because this is a European-based company, maybe they don't like it. But the liquid lime is definitely a thing, and it would go a lot faster to be able to just put it in a sprayer. Um, yeah, we'll lime this field up. We'll lime the next field up, and then we will start thinking about, and I'm going to be thinking about it while I'm sitting here talking to you. Maybe we can figure this out as we go. But we chuck in, let's say, so we just had, I usually, this is how I'll do messing with this. So we know we had corn. We did say we wanted to switch this one to potatoes though. But we can incorporate corn and potatoes. I don't think that that's... So what we could do is we could go highest value. It's going to be grasses. Which sorghum is technically a grass. Corn is as well. But I see what they're talking about. Where it's, I mean, wheat, barley, all of those are technically considered grasses. They are considered cereal grains, but corn and taters. Heck yeah, man. How we doing today, Lancelot? I can go for some corn and taters. I woke up. Okay, I got you. Was that was the goal for today? That was on your to-do list and we hit it? If so, congratulations. I feel you. Sometimes it's a victory just to put on pants. There you go. Got to get the small wins. Small W's every day. Boom. There we go. I did... Oh, maybe... Oh, never mind. Anyway, so yeah, for the crop rotations, I'm thinking definitely want to switch the smaller field to potatoes. Definitely want to keep corn in the rotation. Going to try and keep it as much on North Carolina's growing schedule as I can, but we're going to see how that goes. I don't think I'm going to have enough lime to finish it. I know. After 60 years, it's a toss-up if I win tomorrow. Nah, 60 years, you got it. 60's the new 30. Oh god, I forgot this was 4x4 and over here. Oh, you go by the old rules. I gotcha. Yeah, that's what my dad says. He walks like RoboCop when he gets up out of a chair. I always tease him. I'm doing fantastic. I am. This is my little bit of mental break. I woke up, went out, did some morning chores, and then I've got some more school papers to do because the semester's coming to a close. But that'll be after this. I'm just going to focus on having a good stream right now. Probably should have checked if that water tower had actual, or if I need to put in one. I'm thinking that we're going to do some cows. Oh yeah, 22 I'm really looking forward to. I was talking about it earlier in the stream, but I haven't been keeping up with the updates as much. I know that they fixed the building tool. So it's kind of like a click and drag kind of thing, which I'm excited for because I have a little bit of a potato of a computer, so I can play the game on the computer, but I can't play and stream. So I'm actually streaming from Xbox right now. But so I'm hoping that fixes a little bit of the building for console players. Whew. I'm really excited for that. I'm pretty sure they added grapes too, which will be an interesting one to add. I would like to see some other crops go in, like sorghum and things like that. And I was talking about earlier, I would like to see smaller scale agriculture stuff, like even smaller scale brands like Kubota and stuff like that. Like I know they have the MX and stuff, but it's still, they're not pumping out 400 horsepower beasts. I would like to see them add goats too. I think goats are one of my favorite livestock, and I mean they would essentially just work like a faster production uh, dairy cow, I would assume, or you could raise them for meat. Meat's not really big where goat meat's not really big where I'm at. So yeah, I would really like to see them added. Uh, and then I think the guys that have done the seasons mod have done a really good job of incorporating more specialty agriculture, like the meat chickens, things like that. So I'd like to see some more specialty agriculture. Maybe it would be cool. I mean, it's really niche, but like uh, game bird farming is a big thing. Eating goat with corn and taters. There you go. And I apologize for the Streamlab kind of spamming. I've messed with that constantly over the past 2 days, and I have not been able to get it to stop. So I think I'm just going to have to uninstall the widget and reinstall it and see if I can fix it that way. But uh, I had uh, my uncle's wife, so my aunt, but she is Native American Mexican, or Native American raised uh, on with Mexican culture, and she's never made goat. She's talked about it, but everything that woman touches in the kitchen turns to gold. So I would probably eat it if she told me it was, horse crap. Good old Tejas. I was out in Texas for a little while. I was in the urban area though. I did not. I don't care for cities. I'm Menudo. Menudo's good. I don't mind Menudo. The hangover cure, right? What's the other one? Tripe? Tripe is the deep fried Menudo, right? Because Menudo is like the stew. Yeah. That was one of the good things in Texas. There was never a good, or you were never far from a good Mexican restaurant in Texas. I mean, throw a rock and you're probably gonna hit one. Arizona, got a friend from oh geez, Flagstaff. His mom was actually from Nogales, Mexico. They had immigrated from there, and he moved up to Flagstaff and lived his entire life there. But Never been out that way. Farthest west I've been is uh, Austin. So heard Flagstaff's really pretty though. It's I always used to think of Arizona as just desert hellscape, but uh, friend actually showed me there were some really nice parts, especially around Flagstaff, that I really want to go hike up through there. But I think Montana and Colorado are a little higher on my list right now. Not been out to Washington State. I've driven through Indiana. Um, I have two friends that are actually from uh, Chicago, but Chicago's Illinois, I know, but uh, just in that general vicinity. Those are about the only people I can think of that I know they're actually from the West. I had a buddy live up in Alaska for a while. I kept wanting to get out towards that way. Lived in Anchorage, and he would send me pictures of uh, the horizons and the hikes he would go on up in Denali and everything. Very jealous of that. Sorry, I don't know why it blocked you. I really got to get rid of this thing. Sorry about that. Yeah, I unmodded it. We'll try that. And then of course, as soon as I unmod it, I get somebody asking to buy followers. Doo, doo, doo. Yeah, telemarketers are worse. Okay, we'll see if that fixes it. I always just like to I'd like to go back on them and be like, offer them something else. So I had one and it was like, oh, you've won a free cruise or whatever it was, and I can't remember. And I was like, well, let me tell you about the free cell phone that you've just won. And they didn't know how to respond. They just kind of sat there like, I'm what? Or I get the one about the social security number is always great. Because I'll get to the point where I can talk to the actual person and I just ask them, I was like, is your mother proud of what you do? Does your mother know what you do? 9 times out of 10, they just get angry and hang up. But yeah, I steal a part of their day, and I hope they think about it for the rest of the day. I can get the people actually trying to make a living and trying to actually sell products or something like that, but the people trying to scam people, especially like the elderly, people in their 90s and stuff that don't know what the heck's going on. No, compaction is not a thing. Um, I think on PC there's a terrain mod that may add like it lowers the soil quality when paired with the soil mod and everything like that, but I'm not 100% sure. I think compaction would be an interesting thing to add. So both of these fields are recognized as fallow. So I think we're just going to swap what they did. I think we're going to put potatoes in the small one, and I think we're going to put corn in the other. Yeah, the precision farming. Uh, so I am an ag major, so I I I nerd out over the soil stuff. So it is fun. Woo-ha, yeah, I understand all the woo-ha. Uh, I went and did a for one of my projects for my so I have my first degree is in agribusiness, and we had to do a soil science, an intro to soil science, and that was I was the nerd that went out and was like, I'm gonna take the geological survey and make a project off of that. So yeah, I am the nerd that understands the woo-ha. It's fun. I don't know what it is about it because actually chemistry was the one of my worst grades in high school and college, and for whatever reason, I decided, yeah, soil science, where 90% of it is uh, chemical interactions. But I don't know what it is about it. I just thoroughly enjoy it. Oh, I think I feel another cup of coffee coming, Lancelot. Make moonshine without blowing up. There you go. Hey, I like that too. I like there's a distillery uh near me I want to go try out. Been trying to get into whiskey and I haven't found one I like, and I think it's just I don't like whiskey. I don't care for Bud Light's good, especially an ice cold Bud Light on a really hot summer's day. I don't mind that. If I'm gonna go with a big beer brand, it's probably gonna be Yingling. That's my go-to. But I like dark beers. My first beer ever was a Guinness Stout. So, oh yeah. I've slowly started to find my taste for IPAs. Um, oh, you don't like coffee either? Okay, yeah. See, that's my thing. I love coffee, and everybody has said that there's usually the correlation between uh, dark beers and coffee drinkers. So I've been into microbrews, so not microbrews, but like small local breweries has been my thing lately. Um, the yuppie beer, what I've been into. I'm not a beer snob by any means. Like somebody goes, "Hey, here's free beer," but uh, I have been into the hometown ones. Oh, really? You used to make your own pilsners? Sweet. Yeah, like if I go over to somebody's barbecue or whatever, and they've got Bud Light or some kind of like really hoppy IPA or something like that, sure, it's free beer. But I my go-tos are usually the small ones. If you're drunk enough, I gotcha. There you go. I gotcha. No, uh, I jokingly call them sausage fingers because my fingers are smaller than my palm almost. So I joke that I have these sausage fingers, and that's what usually gets in the way with my typos. I would have failed out of college by now if it wasn't for spell check. Ah, yeah, I'm in I'm in deep with two knee surgeries, the surgery on my hand. I got jacked up, so I feel you. The weather changes and I feel like I can't move and I'm walking with a peg leg. I feel like we burned through the last thing of the line. on the upper portion of the field, and now I feel like we're barely using any. And I know the soil type is changing everything, but that loamy soil, I guess, doesn't need as much. Yeah, I just had a lady take out the front end on my car. She decided she was going to back up because she decided she was in the wrong lane coming out of a highway exit ramp. But it was all good. Nobody got hurt. Initially, I was mad, but I was more concerned that he'd like passed out at the wheel or something. Don't get me wrong, I was still pissed, but wow, that's not a small target to hit. The 350. I mean, are you mostly recovered from it, or I mean, are you just dealing like with the residualness of it, or is it because I know you're gonna you get done with a wreck like that, you're gonna have issues for the rest of your life. But oh, good. Hey, 45 is still pretty quick. I mean, 35 miles an hour. So yeah, you're probably still getting some residualness of it. I mean, I'm definitely glad you're okay. Yeah, a 350. Yeah, that's a wall. That's not a small chunk of metal. All right, before we buy our seeder, let's go ahead and figure out what rotation we're doing. Clicked on the wrong thing anyway. We had potatoes. We know we want to do a rotation of potatoes. Really, we could throw on cotton and get a 95. Yeah, let's do canola. Yeah, canola's not really grown where I'm at. Yeah, we'll throw in soybeans. That's definitely something grown basically everywhere. We can do some soybeans. Throw in some sunflowers because they're not a bad cash crop and they are grown around here. Throw in a small grain with wheat. Throw in some corn. And throw in another thing of soybeans. And we will get a little bit lower on our potatoes, but you get so many freaking potatoes in this game, it's like it's insane. And then for our corn rotation, honestly, we probably just keep that. Ooh. Oof. That doesn't sound fun. Enough about you. Gotcha. So if we throw in that, we get... Yeah, we'll do some sorghum. I think I really want to do some sorghum off this next rotation. Are we going to have to need planter for sorghum? Oh, okay, so we'll need a drill for sorghum. And we've got 170 horsepower to work. The hills, probably not that much. Really? It'd be cool if they had drive lanes automatically built in and I didn't have to get the mod with it. 100. Forget, does this one have a front pickup? Yep, sure does. 110 at 3 meters. Yeah, drive lanes. So there'll be discs on. So this is an actual. These would be what it would actually look like on the actual thing. Those discs would go right behind where your tires are, and so it doesn't plant anything there. And that, like, you would draw a line where your tires are, put it on the back of your seater, and that would keep things from being planted there. So every single time you drive over, you can go back into those drive lanes, quote unquote, and you don't have to crush your crops. I don't think this go around we're going to worry about it as much. Just because we're working with a limited budget. 3.6. 150. Have to cultivate though. Might. So in real life, with the potatoes, you would probably want to plow it, which I think we are going to need to do. And I do have some mods. We do have some rippers too. 330. Need a lot of horsepower to be pulling those though. I think we'll just go with some cultivators and we will give a pass on the realism. We'll do a disc just because I can get a little bit wider with the... We're going to lease both of these just because we're going to try and save up and be able to get our all of our stuff planted because we're going to do corn in the... Yeah, I usually would too. My thing is with the... I guess that would probably be a smarter idea. Look at you. Giving me all sorts of smart ones. This is a 3.6 too. I was just trying to get more width on it. But I think, yeah, you're right. We can do some sorghum and some soybeans. We won't be able to do potatoes, and I think we just won't do potatoes this year. Or this season. We can go ahead and buy it, and then come back to it. This is 4 meters and only needs 100 horsepower. That's 6 meters. The Stara? Ah, okay. Yeah, 3.6. Feel like we get a little bit more, and because we have the front pickup. Small time farmer, I got you. I think we're gonna go with these just because they're cheaper. I like the small fields too when I'm just playing. With the streaming, I feel like people like to see the larger fields. Especially it opens up the potential to, if people will tune in, I'm maybe open it up to multiplayer, which would be fun at some point. Turning on blinkers on dirt roads off of my own property. Like turning a blinker coming out of your own driveway. My dad calls them idiot signals. He said the only thing it tells you is that the person knows how to turn on their lights. He is. He's extremely intelligent. I love my dad. He doesn't think he's intelligent, but I think he's intelligent. Double check and make sure we're even in the right growing season right now. Yeah, to put anything in, we're probably not gonna be. We are gonna have a brutal winter this year over where I'm at. Well, he just doesn't think he's smart or intelligent. He doesn't hold himself that high in a standing, but I think he's very smart, full of a lot of wisdom. Well, we can definitely go ahead and fill it up with seed. And then I think we'll take an interlude. Yeah, humility goes a long way. All right, Lancelot, I think we're going to take a small break just so I can grab another cup of coffee, and then I will be right back. All right, we're back. Got the coffee. The dogs have been taken out. We are good to go getting back to it. So what I'm thinking, we may be safe. In real life, probably would want to wait till the end of spring. I think that might be what we do. Especially if we're going to do spring wheat. Yeah, we probably should. This is Estancia Sao something? I cannot for the life of me remember the last part of it. It's one of the highest rated Brazilian maps, I think, if you're looking for it in Mod Hub. They don't make they haven't made a North Carolina map, so I just went with something with a lot of red clay. That's the majority of what we've got going on here. I think what we're going to do, just to make a little bit of extra cash in the meantime, let's do not plowing. Yeah, I'd be cool with doing some cultivating contract. That was for field 1. We're going. Just because we don't have enough right now to do, and I'd like to get some. Oh, that's right across from the shop. That's super easy. Red Dirt County. No, I have not. Did not see that one. I'm assuming that one is got a lot of red dirt. I only have about 2 brain cells, but I think I have seen there's there's one that's based on the Midwest, but I don't think Ohio and because I'm pretty sure it's based on Ohio has too much in common with North Kakalaki. I thought that was a rainbow for a second. I was like, oh, that's a cool addition. I didn't know they could do that. Ah, they don't have a soil. That might have been it, because I was looking for something that still had the soil map. Ah. Oklahoma. Definitely want to hit all of those breadbasket states. Been to Texas. Haven't been. I really want to head up to Nebraska. And I'd like to see. They have the largest hand-planted forest in the world. I think that would be a cool one to see. They have a lot of national parks out there. Ah, okay, cool. I am not sure what this song is, but I'm not digging it. Like, why do I want to head up to Nebraska or go to Nebraska? I think every state's got something to give, something, something special about them. Well, I don't know. In the near Omaha and stuff, you've got the river valley, from what I understand. Not necessarily a valley, but they're you know the rolling hills area. Out towards Valentine, from what I understand, it's like the grasslands and stuff, which I think is pretty. And then in the northwest, up near Chad Run, you should get the foothills of the Black Hills. I don't have anything to say about the Sand Hills or anything like that, but you know, I don't know a ton about it other than I've looked into a couple of their national park or their state parks and stuff, and they seem pretty cool. Oh, now my wife and I at some point, um, we're working off paying off our debt and stuff, typical thing. We'd like to just, kind of jump in the car and do a road trip, go all 50 states, go to all the territories in Canada. Um, I guess it would be all 49 states because you can't drive to Hawaii, but they'll get to Hawaii eventually. Is it Nebraska or Kansas? And their motto, like whoever came up with their motto is not it's not for everyone. Like I don't remember if that was Kansas or Nebraska, but I saw that and I was like, I hope whoever in marketing got fired. How do we describe our state to everybody? It's not for everyone. Yeah, that really makes people want to come here. It was one of them. I swear it was. It was either. Don't think it's Nebraska. I'm nearly 100% certain it was Kansas. But we were contemplating a road trip this summer, and that was one of the. We were looking to head out to some of the Heartland states. And I just remember seeing that. Oh yeah, that other cup of coffee's hitting the spot. One of the things I hope they do if they keep with this precision agriculture thing in the 2022, for a contract, you should be able to go and do the soil samples for the computers. I think it's really strange. Like if you do a fertilizing job or whatever, they just automatically do the max amount. They don't do the precision farming thing. So I think that would be cool. Definitely have it set to instrumental only music, so I don't know why it's playing something with vocals. My brother will jokingly call these things housters. He We were driving through the eastern side of the state or whatever, and we saw one of these things, and it was like a John Deere 9R. Thing was gigantic, and he goes, "My gosh, you could put a doggone house on the top of the thing." And since then, it's been any one of them that are articulated in the middle and are in, the 400 horse, these gigantic machines, automatically housters. I was talking about it earlier in the stream, but my first degree is in agribusiness, and one of the things that we had to talk about was starting a business. And to put in perspective, the professor actually brought up what the general consensus is from Cornell University on what a modern day farmer to make a living, and they set the living standard at about $35,000 a year, and they would need about $7 million, give or take, to be able to make a living. That's $7 million to make 35,000 a year. And the USDA keeps saying that the average age of most farmers is retirement age, and I just keep thinking about the nobody wants to take it over because of all the debt you have to take on just to make what you could make. I mean, being a janitor for Facebook, you'd probably make more. And I mean, nothing against janitors, but they don't have to take on $7 million of debt to do it. So to add as much realism at the beginning of the stream or at the beginning of the episode, I just maxed out the loan debt. We're just gonna try. That's gonna be the goal, is just pay off the loan debt. I couldn't even imagine that much money. I get freaked out with the fact that I gotta pay for my house, and my house ain't nothing special. Yeah. Well, that was. I definitely think it's the modern a windmill tender. Okay. What did that all entail? Sorry about that. Switching. Had to make sure the dogs got let in. $7 a week. So you got paid $1 a windmill per week. Huh. Hey, I'm sure for a 9-year-old man, that was making bank. You could buy all the gumballs and candy you wanted. Yeah, there you go. You were the Jeff Bezos of 9-year-olds. My first job was my mom used to work for this paper processing company, and it was just like they did die cutting and everything. Like, I just remember the guy's name was Rich, and he used to pay me. I was about, I think I would have been, whatever you are in third grade, because I was about like third or fourth grade was when, and he would just pay me to push the, just transport the paper to the workers. I just had to push them on a pneumatic forklift, and that was what he paid me to do. And he actually wrote me a little it was a fake check at the time, but yeah. Oh, there you go. I would have loved that as a kid, driving grain carts around. But yeah, I got paid to push pallets of paper everywhere. They weren't insanely heavy, and the forklift made it, or the pneumatic forklift, the little crank kind, made it no problem, or hydraulic, whatever they were. But yeah, and I would just push the pallets of the paper over, and then when the workers would get done loading up an old pallet, I would go and grab that and push it over to the thing. I don't even remember how much I got paid. I was just like, I wanted money. I was willing to do whatever. So every day after school, that would be what I would do. Hand trucks. Hand trucks for me are the thing you move furniture with. The dolly. What I'm originally from up north, and that would be what we would call the dollies were the things you moved uh, hand trucks with or furniture with. Down in North Carolina, they call them uh, hand trucks, but they also call shopping carts buggies here. So yeah, when I moved down here, I had to learn a lot of different lingo. Uh, Honestly, just the dialect in general, but uh, the accent was something I really had to get adjusted to. Pillows were pillars. Um, I could never tell the difference until I lived here for a little bit between what they were saying of a bull in the pasture and to boil water. They would say they would just it was like they ran both of them together. It would be bull. So you'd boil water. Yeah, pilla. They call them pillars. That's what everybody around me has called him, Pillar. When you were a kid, you didn't sleep over. It was a spend a night, all one word. Pillars, if there's more than one. There you go. That's the plural. Alrighty. Well, my friend, I appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the follow button. I'm trying to get up on the affiliate level. It was nice chatting with you too. I'll see you around. Thank you.